So, pandemics are bad for creativity, right? I mean, I know that should go without saying, but it's pretty clear not everyone is experiencing this quarantine the same way. For someone like me in a back-breaking essential labor job, I'm working every day. And if anything, since the pandemic has started, I've been working more hours. With an exception for one bonus, I'm not really getting paid any better either. All this coupled with trying to keep up with the news and mandatory 45 to 50-hour work weeks, it's been getting hard to just breathe, let alone do the kind of things I enjoy, like making videos. Shirobako is a 2014 anime series about young women who work in a creative field. After spending their lives as anime fans, the main characters of Shirobako are either currently working in or trying to get into the anime industry. As an audience, we see these young women deal with art block, cramped schedules, and a generally just competitive industry to get into in the first place. It shows just how much work goes into trying to keep a 13-episode anime season on schedule. We mostly see this from Aoi Miyamori's perspective, as she is not just the main character, but a young producer still learning the ropes. That means that she's intimately involved in literally every aspect of production. Her feelings of inadequacy as a barely getting by millennial, with her fate tied to a barely getting by studio, it's easy to relate to her. But the character that I personally related to more was Shizuka Sakaki, known as Zuka to her friends. While other members of her club all managed to at least get their foot in the door of the industry they wanted to join, we followed Zuka through several failed and really embarrassing auditions, and then get to watch her retreat to her dead-end job as a waitress. She constantly psychs herself up, only to choke at the few auditions that she does get. The series even emphasizes that several younger actresses are already thriving, while Zuka can barely get cast as an extra. It's also a reminder that time isn't stopping for anyone, Zuka included, and we share in her fear that the window for her becoming an actress is going to close soon. It hurts to watch. I've spent a lot of time looking at YouTube. I mean, obviously, I make things for YouTube, so I try to keep up with what other people are doing. It can be frustrating when I look at some of my favorite subscriptions, some of the best channels that I watch, that haven't been around nearly as long as mine have, but talk about how quaint it is that it seems like only yesterday that they only had 1,000 subscribers. After a decade on this platform, I still barely have over 500. It's true, I can get videos done faster now, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but I love this new setup. It's just not always where I want to go after a 9 to 10 hour workday. It's hard to motivate myself to get up here. It's also hard for me to not envy other professional video makers where that is their thing. They just make things creatively. And yeah, they have their deadlines. And some of the anime YouTubers that have to keep up with everything, that's a lot. But it still sounds better than slowly crushing your body 45 to 50 hours a week. Recreators is a 2017 reverse isekai series by Fate Zero director Aoki. The story follows a bunch of anime and game characters that find themselves trapped in the real world. Well, this whole thing relates to a big bad, surprisingly poignant plan to explore the effect an audience can have on a creator. I think the most interesting and heartfelt scenes in the entire show are the ones of characters meeting their creators and those creators having to come face to face with what they made. There's complicated feelings of meeting the person who literally made your world and might have also literally put you through hell. Conversely, seeing a person you created as a person and not just a device you use in a plot can have some world-shattering effects on your look at the universe. It's really fascinating seeing how all the characters react to this. Some, like the increasingly genre-savvy protagonist Meteora, see it as something of an honor and love knowing that someone put so much thought into creating their world. Others, like Blitz Talker and Alistaria February, see their creators as evil gods who put them through hell for someone else's amusement. Similarly, and almost conversely, Celestia's creators, Takeshi and Marine, treat her almost like a daughter, and eventually she starts to see Takeshi as something of a father figure. There's so much working for this show, and I don't think I could cover it all now, even if I tried, but I absolutely adore the idea of finding a personal connection with the fiction that you consume and create. I've been connecting with fictional characters through Gunpla lately. Gundam scale models are fun to build, and with my limited free time, it makes me feel like I actually accomplished something. Seeing the engineering of a cartoon robot rendered in 3D is just fascinating, and I can't help but have fun with it. Then the guilt comes back in. I remember that in my country, people are dying for no good reason, and that the powers that be either aren't doing anything about it or are actively trying to make it worse. I actually started a script about this trigger anime that I really, really love, but the show is about the effects of prejudice, and sometimes it's been hitting a little too close to home, and then I get exhausted before I can even finish it. And I'm like on the last page as I'm filming this. So here I am, escaping into my backlog, building another Federation war machine from my robot collection. The world is super scary right now, and it's understandable to feel the need to escape, but sometimes that need to escape can make you feel more creative. Keep Your Hands Off Azer Ken is probably the best anime of 2020. It tells the story of three high school girls who start a film club specifically to make new original anime. In particular, Midori Asakusa regularly zones out into her own greatest world in order to create more intricate machinery, places, and a just plain believable world. Asakusa sometimes gets so much into her imagination that it's up to the more economically minded Kanamori to get her back on track. And Kanamori is such a blessing. She's not just a great character, but in the context of making things, even though Asakusa is the creative director of all the club's projects, her journeys into her creative world often make her either distracted from or willfully ignorant of the club's deadlines and budgetary limitations. It's not enough to just be creative. You have to be willing to focus that creativity towards something. I don't want to be distracted by everything else in the world. I want to talk about furries dealing with racism, moth gods, and 70s robot anime that are super anti-fascist. And maybe just allowing myself to do that and not make excuses is the only way to move forward. I don't necessarily have the answers to everything. I know I have an incredibly devoted and kind fan base, and to everyone who stuck with me this long, I can't thank you enough. For everyone who's new, maybe you're disappointed that I don't upload more often, and I get that. Right now, what I'm asking is that you be patient with me. Be patient with each other, too. Because if we give each other, and if I can give myself a chance instead of beating up on myself about this, I really want to make something great that you can all enjoy. If nothing else, check out these 3 great anime about being creative. And if you have any anime that get your creative juices flowing, you should comment them down below. Next time, we are going to be talking about furries and prejudice, and I absolutely cannot wait to do that. Thanks for being so patient. I hope the next one will blow you away. In the meantime, if you want to support me and join the people whose names are buzzing up on the screen on one side right now, you should sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that. If you don't have the money, just liking, sharing, subscribing, I'd really love that too. But as always, keep on spocking in the free world. This has been a Nerd and Tie production.